Hello, Guardians. It is Ebontis here, and it is October 18th. We are here on Nessus, in case you don't know where I'm talking about. Nessus over here, and then we are on the Watcher's Grave landing zone because it is Xur Day. So Xur has arrived. He is over here in the big gold barge, so let's go check out his inventory and go over the rolls of everything we've got to look at. Thank you guys for the support lately. Recently broke 40,000 subs. Thank you all very much for that. I really, really appreciate it. Honestly, can't thank you all enough. It is amazing to hit a milestone like that, so thank you all. Also, this morning we recorded the Last Word podcast. Audio will be up probably right as this video goes up. Video will be up on the channel later this weekend, so tune in for that one, and also on the Iron Lords podcast channel. So if you haven't caught our podcast, The Last Word, with myself and Lord Cognito, definitely check it out. Audio and video, I'll put those links in the description, but definitely upcoming later. So here is Xur, Tentacle Face Man. I can't even kill those guys, so I just gotta make sure I don't get shot. Let's see what he's got. Alright, so we do have a couple things. The Faded Engram. This is going to drop anything through year 2 that does not involve a quest. So anything from year 1 and year 2. I think a couple things to know about the Faded Engram. It does cost 97 legendary shards. So remember, if you're looking to pick this up, make sure you're not going to be getting a duplicate of something down here. So if you don't have anything on this list down here, make sure you buy it first before you buy this, because this works on a checklist. So if you have, 20 exotics and you're missing 4, it's going to likely give you one of those 4. Now, it can give you weapons or armor. One thing to make note of, if you are looking for a specific piece of armor for a certain class, like if I need a Warlock exotic that I don't have yet, make sure you're on your Warlock when you buy the Faded Engram, just to make sure you actually do get a chance at that Warlock exotic. Typically, I think it is character-based if it rolls armor, so I'm not going to get a Warlock exotic if I'm on my Titan. So, just to clarify that one. 5 of the Swords, this is the old challenge card for the old modifiers, kind of the Legacy Nightfalls that we've got over there on the right where you get to pick 3. Those are out there as well. So, the gear. First one we've got is Telesto. This one has had its ups and downs over the course of Destiny 2, and it came from Destiny 1 as well. So it is a pretty cool gun, though. It's one that you still sometimes see in Crucible. It's a decent void weapon. If you need fusions at some point, it's actually still a pretty fun gun to use. Unplanned Reprieve. Fusion projectiles attach and detonate with a delayed void blast. So the good thing about this is the projectiles in PvP, for example, are not affected by range. So if you do tag somebody with 4 or 5 of these across the map and they all explode, you're still going to kill them from far away because there really isn't a range drop-off because these have to attach and then detonate. So it does work different than a fusion rifle. Still works like similar to a fusion rifle with the projectiles, but they explode after they attach. So works a little differently. Still pretty fun gun to use. I think all in all, not too shabby either. Projection Fuse. Harbinger's Pulse is the other one. Multi-kills with this weapon immediately reload your equipped kinetic and energy weapons from reserves. So if you do get multi-kills, because this thing does shoot out quite a few things and explodes, like if you're going for PvE enemies or Thrall or multiples or anything like that, you can get a reload on your energy and kinetic slots, so that'll reload this and then your kinetic weapon as well. Nice little bonus in there. Nothing crazy, but nice little bonus if you're trying to get a reload and you get multi-kills. Well, keep going. Polymer Grip, increased handling speed on this one as well. Overall, just a pretty cool weapon. It's just a void fusion rifle that still puts in some work, so if you don't have it, definitely add this to your collection. I don't know if it's like top of any metas right now, but it's still a fun gun to use. For the Titans, we have the Dunemarchers. Perk here, Linear Actuators. Increases sprint speed. Sprinting builds up a static charge. After melee attacking an enemy, that charge will chain damage to nearby enemies. So if you run for a little while, you'll build up a charge, and then if you go melee something, you're actually going to chain that damage to nearby enemies as well. So it kind of gets a double bonus effect. You'll go faster, and then when you get in the mix and punch stuff, you'll actually have some benefit of chaining that damage. Stat roll on this one is 50. I've kind of gathered that Xur is probably not going to have the best stat rolls in the world, because while you can acquire the exotics, the good rolls are going to come from world drops. So we've got 13 mobility, 12 strength, everything else is sitting at 6 or 7, so pretty neutral roll. Mobility and strength at least does make sense for this exotic, because we're talking about running and also melees. So at least those stats kind of make sense. I'm sure you can get a stat or random roll that may not actually benefit this exotic, but at least these seem to be at least headed in the right direction. It's 50 stat points, really not that high. And as I was saying, these stat rolls are not that high for what he sells. We're talking 48, 48, and 50, so really not a big one. I do believe the Faded Engram can give you nice stat rolls as an option. Like, I think I've got one and I got like 60 out of it. So anything above 60 is definitely something to watch out for, and I think the Faded Engram can drop that. For the Warlocks, we've got Transversive Steps. Now, Transversive Steps definitely look pretty cool. Your perk here is going to be Strange Protractor. Sprint speed increase, so apparently we're all about mobility this week. After a short time sprinting, your currently equipped weapon is automatically reloaded. It's a pretty straightforward perk. Nothing crazy. You do have a lot of mobility on this one, so 17 actually high on that single stat roll. So if you are using this in PvP, decent mobility and sprinting faster, and it might just be a PvP exotic for you. Not going to give you a whole lot of resilience or recovery or discipline or anything else there. A little bit of intellect, but all in all, they definitely skewed that stat toward mobility pretty specifically, so might actually not be a bad combo there, even if it doesn't have the greatest roll. Lets you experiment with this exotic with at least a mobility, kind of heavy roll on it as well. But pretty straightforward. After a short time sprinting, you reload, and when you're in PvP, you get some guns and you go run into the next gunfight. After you run for a couple seconds, you're reloaded and you're back in it. So it's actually not bad, and you'll run faster. So in general, this is just a kind of workhorse behind the scenes exotic, just kind of getting reloads, sprinting faster, stuff like that as you go. Not anything that's going to make supers come back or different abilities, but overall just a general use exotic there for the Warlocks. Finally, we've got Shards of Galanor for the good old Hunters. So a whole bunch of knives on the arm. Obviously, this one tunes into Blade Barrage. So we've got sharp edges. Hits and kills with Blade Barrage return super energy after the super ends. Now, there was a point where this was almost next to broken. Basically, you could Blade Barrage a lot more than you probably should be able to. If you hit a big group of enemies with a lot of hits, you could almost get your super back next to instantly. So they did tone that down a little bit so it's not broken. But if you do run Blade Barrage a lot, getting super energy from kills and hits and things like that, still a good thing. So when you throw Blade Barrage out, getting a decent chunk of that, even if it's like a third of it back, still a pretty good idea if you do like running Blade Barrage a lot. But it is very specific to this one super. That's about it. Stats over on the right, we've got Resilience at 11, Intellect at 12. Everything else is pretty neutral. 48 total points, not very high. And this one is a solar roll, obviously. It is for a solar subclass, so they do tend to tie those together as well. But that is about it for Xur. So he's on Nessus, up in Watcher's Grave. And he's up in the gold bars, and he is chilling out. He's getting a tan today, so he's got some sun. And just remember, if you do want to get the Faded Engram, make sure you have everything bought here first. You don't want to spend 97 shards for a Telesto when you can buy it down here for 29 and anything else like that. But other than that, thank you very much. I do have family in town this weekend, so if I do get any videos or anything up, it will probably be quietly and at weird hours. But other than that, I'll be off a little bit this weekend, so no streams or likely not very many videos outside of the podcast and stuff coming up. But check out the podcast. Audio will be up shortly, so stay tuned for that one. And other than that, thank you all for the support lately. It's been awesome. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, leave a comment if you got questions or just want to say hello. You guys can find me on Twitch, on Twitter. Right here on YouTube, though, it is Ebontis. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit it and hit that alert bell next to it. That'll keep my videos coming to you. So thank you for all the new, veteran, old players, all of you. You guys are awesome. Have a good weekend and enjoy.